Захищаємо свою землю! А за що воюєте ви?
A man pushes through smoke and cannon fire toward a Russian gun position while soldiers fall all around him. He isn't fighting for glory. He isn't fighting for Poland. He is a Carpathian conscript who has been promised one thing if he survives this battle: freedom. His name is Oleksa Dovbush, and when he survives, completes the mission, and helps win the fight, his commanders do not set him free. They steal his victory, put him back in chains, and send word to his family that he is dead. That betrayal will turn one mountain soldier into the man an entire ruling class will come to fear. It is 1733, and Poland is caught in a war over its throne. Near Gdansk, Russian forces have trapped Hetman Yosef Potocki's army, and their artillery is preventing a breakthrough. Potocki needs those guns destroyed, so he sends in men whose lives are cheap enough to risk, Carpathian conscripts, supported by his elite troops. The offer is simple. Any conscript who survives will be set free. For Oleksa, that is enough. Somewhere beyond the battlefield is Black Mountain, his home, his family, and Marichka, the woman he loves. So he fights his way through the fort while other men fall around him. The signal finally goes up. Potocki's forces attack, and the siege is broken. Oleksa has done what was asked of him. Now he asks for what was promised. Instead, Colonel Pseluski becomes the celebrated hero. The officer receives the praise, the promotion, and the attention of Princess Teofilia Jablanovska. Oleksa, the man whose courage made that victory possible, is dragged away. Back in the Carpathians, his family is told that he died in the war. They even receive money for his death. His father, Vasil, refuses to accept that money as compensation for a son. He uses it to raise a memorial cross instead. As far as everyone at home knows, Oleksa's bones are lying somewhere in a foreign land. 3 years pass, but the name Dovbush has not disappeared. Oleksa's brother Ivan has become an opryshko, one of the armed mountain outlaws who live beyond the reach of the authorities. Ivan does not hide what he is. He wants travelers to know exactly whose road they are using. Men call him the Butcher, and he makes fear part of his power. Ivan believes the nobles understand only force, so he answers them in the same language. The authorities answer with violence of their own. Princess Jablanovska wants complete control over the Black Mountain region, while Pseluski leads the men hunting the opryshko through its valleys and forests. Anyone connected to the outlaws can become a target, and that is when the dead man comes home. Oleksa has survived years of captivity. When he finally reaches the mountains, one of the first things waiting for him is the cross built in his memory. He has returned to a place where his family has already buried him without a body. Before he can rebuild the life stolen from him, however, the authorities strike at his family. Pseluski's men come to Vasil's home looking for Ivan. They seize the family's property and demand to know where the outlaw is hiding. Vasil refuses to betray his son. That refusal costs him his life. Oleksa learned that his father was being buried and that he had to return to attend, as was their law. Pseluski knew this as well, so he waited for Oleksa on the route the funeral would take. There is barely time for anyone to absorb the shock before the soldiers move in. Ivan and his men fight their way to Oleksa and get him out. The two brothers stand together again, but the years have changed them. Ivan offers Oleksa an escape. Beyond Black Mountain lies Wallachia, outside Polish authority. Oleksa could cross the border and finally live as a free man. But Oleksa no longer believes freedom means reaching a place where the authorities cannot find him. His father is dead. His home has been violated. His people can still be treated as property. If he runs now, the same system remains behind. So he joins Ivan's opryshko. From the beginning, however, Oleksa makes one thing clear. He will not kill without reason. That difference sounds small. It will eventually tear the brothers apart. On one raid, Ivan terrorizes a family while searching for money.
Де гроші?
Чоловіче, каже, де гроші? Я його знаю, він дурний, він його заріже.
Бігом, давай гроші. Показуй, де гроші.
He puts a child in danger simply to force the adults to open a chest. Ivan wants them frightened enough to obey. But when the chest is opened, Oleksa finds something more valuable than coins: debt records. The papers bind ordinary families to obligations that can follow not only them, but also their children and grandchildren. Oleksa does not take the documents with him. He burns them. The raid returns almost nothing to Ivan's men, but down in the villages, families realize that debts meant to outlive them have gone up in smoke. For the first time, they are not just hearing stories about another outlaw in the mountains. Oleksa has taken a bullet at close range and lived. People already tell legends about an ancient mountain axe and the man who carries it. Now every impossible escape makes the story stronger. Maybe bullets cannot kill Dovbush. Maybe death itself cannot touch him. Oleksa does not need to invent the myth. Other people do it for him. Meanwhile, Princess Jablanovska is playing a much larger game. She wants political power, and Russian money can help her buy the military force she needs. Her land and the people living on it become part of that bargain.
Pojedziesz za granicę po ważną przesyłkę dla mnie.
Then Oleksa learns that an iron-covered carriage is moving out of Wallachia, carrying Russian gold, with Pseluski and armed men assigned to protect it. To Ivan, a shipment like that is the score of a lifetime. To Oleksa, it is something else. That gold is supposed to buy an army that can be turned against people like them. If the opryshki take it first, they can buy weapons of their own.
Що скажеш, Іван? Хтось мусить стати за людей.
Ну, най буде так.
For once, both brothers want the same target. The opryshki ambush the convoy. The attack becomes a running battle as the armored carriage races toward the bridge. Gunfire follows it. Men are thrown from horses, and the entire operation comes close to collapsing.
Бережись!
But the brothers get the gold. For a few minutes, it looks as if this victory might finally unite them. Instead, the treasure destroys what remains of their partnership. Ivan divides the gold into shares. His plan is to take the money, cross into Wallachia, and live well. In his mind, the men have earned it. Oleksa sees the same gold and thinks about what will happen after they leave.
А люди, Іване, Яблуновська і Пшилуцький будуть мстити. Зараз в нас є золото, братіку. За ці гроші ми можемо купити зброю і підемо на панів.
To Ivan, the gold buys an escape. To Oleksa, it buys a chance to fight back. Ivan thinks that is insanity. He does not trust people who have spent their lives submitting to the lords. In his eyes, they will not suddenly become soldiers because Oleksa gives them guns. They will waste what they are given, betray the opryshki, or simply trade one master for another. Oleksa refuses to accept that nothing can change. Ivan has learned how to survive inside oppression. Oleksa wants to break it. The argument becomes personal.
Чи ти думаєш, я не знаю, що ти не йдеш? Мовчи. Він не дбає ні за кого з вас. Замовчи! Це ж за Маріку Зинчукову. Заткни свою пеку! Свою!
Then the brothers separate. Ivan leaves. Oleksa stays. And the men who remain are no longer following Oleksa because he is Ivan Dovbush's brother. They are choosing Oleksa. He buys weapons. His support grows. Stories move through the villages faster than soldiers can suppress them, and the authorities respond by putting a price on his head. Pseluski's forces tighten their grip. Informants are rewarded. Punishments become harsher. Every family that shelters an opryshok now has something to lose. But terror has a weakness. It works only while people believe resistance is hopeless. Oleksa has given them evidence that it is not. The man the army declared dead has returned. The outlaw the nobles keep hunting continues to survive. He burns their debts, steals the gold meant to strengthen their rulers, and uses that money to arm the people those rulers intend to punish. It also pulls Marichka deeper into the danger.
Олекса, мені сказали, що ти вмер.
Ти така файна була у весільній короні.
Oleksa is not simply an old lover who has returned after many years. He is the man she lost because an army took him away, put him in chains, and told everyone he was dead. Their feelings have survived the years apart, and Stefan knows it. Psaluski can hunt Oleksa through the forest. Stefan knows exactly where Oleksa's heart will bring him. Before that trap closes, the authorities attack something else, his name. A church is robbed and burned, and the crime is blamed on the Dovbush brothers.
Довбуші, ці злодії, це вони обікрали церкву і підпалили матінку.
Не годно того бути, бо вони свої.
Коли Іван цей під'яв сюди мені ножа до горла підставив і питає мене, то як тебе звати?
It is a calculated move. If the peasants believe Oleksa is no different from any other violent bandit, the uprising loses the one thing weapons alone cannot create, trust. But the lie begins to fall apart. Marichka knows Oleksa was not there.
Я, Іван Довбуш.
Та невже? Іван не такий вощивий, як ти.
The opryshki trace the attack to men committing crimes under the Dovbush name, and Oleksa returns the stolen money so the church can be rebuilt. By now, the struggle is no longer just about an outlaw hiding in the hills. It is about who the people believe. Even among the powerful, Princess Jablanovska is losing control. The Russian gold she expected is gone. Her authority is being challenged, and the nobles who once dealt with her now recognize a different reality. On Black Mountain, Oleksa Dovbush has become the true source of power. That humiliation brings a much larger enemy. Hetman Josef Potocki marches toward Galicia with crown troops. This is no longer a local hunt. Potocki announces death for anyone who shelters in opryshko, joins them, or challenges the nobles' claim to the land. Oleksa's movement begins paying the price. Marichka sees what is coming and begs Oleksa to leave. He has escaped before. He can cross the border again, and they can go somewhere no one knows their names. But that solution no longer means freedom to him. Oleksa has spent years being moved by other men's decisions, forced into their army, chained after fighting for them, declared dead, and hunted through his own mountains. He does not want another life that depends on running far enough. He wants to live here, free on his own land. So instead of escaping Potocki's army, Oleksa prepares to face it. This time, he understands the men marching toward him, because he used to be one of them. When the crown soldiers form their lines, Oleksa does not treat every man in uniform as the true enemy. He tells them that he was once a soldier too. Officers drove men like them toward death while the powerful remained behind. Then he asks the question their commanders never wanted them to consider.
Ми захищаємо свою землю! А за що воюєте ви?
That hesitation gives the opryshki their opening. They use deception to reach the fortified position, arriving as if Dovbush has already been captured. The gates open. Then the disguise drops.
Олекса, я знайшов хід до темниці.
Братько! Це братчику.
By morning, Oleksa's men have won. But Oleksa does not mistake one victory for the end of the war. They may have defeated 100 men. Thousands more can come. So he orders the others to gather the people and move toward Kuti, where the uprising can regroup. Oleksa has one thing left to do. He goes back for Marichka, and that is exactly where the final trap is waiting. Stefan has already turned Oleksa's love into an opportunity. He has offered his money to have Oleksa killed inside his house, with one condition. Everyone must believe that Stefan is the man who pulled the trigger. If the plan works, Stefan gets revenge, the bounty, and a place in the story. When Oleksa reaches the house, Marichka has been locked inside. He enters looking for her, but a voice in the darkness asks whether he truly believes that only a silver bullet can kill him. Oleksa demands to know who is there.
Ти хто?
Хто ти?
Твоя смерть.
The brother who walked away after the gold is now the killer Stefan paid to wait for Oleksa. But Ivan says that Ivan Dovbush is already dead. In his eyes, Oleksa took everything that once belonged to him, his gang, his glory, and even the name Dovbush itself. Oleksa reminds him that leaving was his choice. Ivan says he wanted to live, and suddenly the entire story returns to the question that divided them from the beginning. What do their people actually need? Ivan still believes the answer is money. There is money waiting for whoever delivers Dovbush's head. Oleksa believes they need something money cannot buy. Someone willing to fight for them. Someone willing to die for them. For the first time, Ivan understands what his brother has been trying to say. The name Dovbush has become bigger than either of them, and if one brother dies carrying that name, the other can keep the fight alive. Moments later, Marichka reaches Oleksa. He is alive. Ivan is not. But soldiers are coming, and there is not enough time for Oleksa and Marichka to disappear together, so Marichka stays behind. When the authorities arrive, she does not expose Oleksa's escape. She points to Ivan's body and cries that her Oleksa has been killed. Then she turns Stefan's own plan against him. Stefan is forced to accept the lie. To the soldiers, he is the man who killed Dovbush. That is the story he paid for, and now he cannot refuse it without exposing himself. For the authorities, the story is perfect. At last, the outlaw who humiliated them is dead. Stefan is officially declared the man who killed Oleksa Dovbush. He is freed from taxes and awarded 300 pieces of gold. The supposed body of Oleksa is sentenced to be cut into 12 pieces and displayed along the roads of Galicia. They want the corpse to become a warning. Instead, they have been handed the wrong Dovbush. While the authorities celebrate the death of the rebellion's leader, Oleksa is still somewhere in the mountains. Princess Jablonovska does not get the victory she expected either. Her attempt to seize power turns against her. Potocki strips her of her Galician castles and lands, and she is sent to spend the rest of her life in a convent. The people in power have changed again, exactly as Ivan once predicted. But one thing has changed with them. At the beginning, Oleksa Dovbush was a conscript begging powerful men to honor a promise and give him his freedom. By the end, those same kinds of men need an entire army, public executions, rewards, propaganda, and even a false corpse just to convince the mountains that they have defeated him. And somewhere beyond their reach lives the man they have already declared dead twice. A man who cheated death. His name is Dovbush.